Did Justin Trudeau secretly build himself a brand new lakeside mansion at his lakeside retreat with your money? Yes, he did. And it's been in the works for at least 4 years now. Today, I'll show you a 2018 Rebel News Access to Information investigation where Trudeau was already making the demands for these upgrades as far back as 2016. Since Justin Trudeau took office, he has been upgrading his summer house at Harrington Lake into a millionaire's lakeside retreat for his friends and family, and you, friends, have been paying for all of it. Aerial photographs of the property have shown the upgrades clearly underway, while the National Capital Commission bureaucrats, the ones who manage the property, have been very slow to confirm what Google Earth already did. We've got record unemployment in Canada. Everybody is locked in their homes on some sort of medical house arrest. There's a total economic shutdown. And Trudeau is expanding his summer getaway one more time to maximize his vacay vibes. It's so tone-deaf and detached from reality. This is David Reevely of the Canadian Press. He tweets, "It took a couple of days, but the National Capital Commission says this is the in-progress reconstruction of the former caretaker's cottage on the property, derelict since 2008, into a guest house for visitors. It's been moved from up the road. The cost is included in the Harrington Lake rehab budget." But here's the thing. The mainstream media is just now catching up to this story that I've been covering for about 2 years now. In fact, I uncovered Justin Trudeau's desire to have a new party pad at Harrington Lake in an access to information investigation into Justin Trudeau's hot tub sauna upgrade on the taxpayer-funded and maintained property back in 2018. I've got the documents. However, I'll show you them in a minute. But first, here is CBC's coverage of the upgrades to Harrington Lake at the time, back in 2018. The Prime Minister paid for the sauna himself, but it cost $4,368 to provide electrical service to it. A new screened patio cost approximately $10,000, and 3 patio umbrellas and stands were purchased for about $3,000. An old deck and floating dock were replaced for $12,000 each. There are also new boat racks, which cost $8,500, and a $5,000 golf cart, which is used by staff and by the family. In the winter months, the snow removal contract at Harrington Lake has increased by $17,000 to $45,000. Now, when I looked into these expenses a little further, because Lord knows CBC wasn't going to, I uncovered that the upgrades into the property included a treehouse with a zip line, a full bee farm for some reason, replete with actual bee farmers that cost $9,000, $6,000 for an organic garden, and $13,500 to build a fence to keep the deer out of Trudeau's organic garden, and $2,000 to improve the ice on his private skating rink. There were also upgrades to the Trudeau Canoe Armada, a 17-foot prospector canoe specifically in red, 1 flat water kayak and 1 river kayak, 2 paddle boards, a windsurfer, a sailboat, a pontoon boat, and a ski boat. And $3,500 was spent to fix the potable water system at the lake house, not because the water was undrinkable, but rather because the Trudeaus found it to be just a little too soft for their liking. Try telling something like that to a First Nations reserve without drinking water and see how that goes. It was outrageous and entitled, of course, something Stephen Harper would never have gotten away with, or for that matter, even tried to get away with. And buried in those 2018 documents, I found something else. The future plans for the expansion of Harrington Lake. The plans we are seeing being built on the property right now. Look at this from my 2018 Access to Information request on the upgrades to Harrington Lake that were being planned as far back as the summer of 2016, the first summer for the Trudeau family there. Page 48, Caretaker's Cottage. That's the one the Canadian Press reporter had the NCC confirm is being moved up the road and turned into a mansion for guests. Review potential uses for this building, possible staff residences, offices, kitchen. Page 7. Consider alternate residence on site for entertaining heads of state. And this alternate residence must have, quote, universal access to the beach. Imagine being this entitled that even after you outrage people because your demands for the Harrington Lake property 2 years ago were so entitled, you still proceed with refurbishing and moving an entire house to make your fancy summer getaway even more fancy, smack dab in the middle of a government-induced recession. Well, friends, you've just imagined Justin Trudeau. And as for the mainstream media, they're using all that bailout cash to bring you yesterday's news today, or 2 years ago's news right now. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid. While the mainstream media takes big cash from Justin Trudeau to bring you news we already reported 2 years ago, you can help us bring you the news when you need it. Right now, just go to helprebelnews.com.